welcome to Lemon Yellow Art Studio. My name is Tia and I'll be your art teacher today. So let's get started. So here's a bit of a closer look at our project today. I'm really excited to get started on this with you. So before we do, here are all the art supplies that you will need today. I'll kind of go through them one by one with you. So the first thing is a watercolor palette. Then you'll need a bit of a wide bristle brush, some water, some white acrylic paint, some green masking tape, scissors, a pencil, a fine tip black pen, and an assortment of water-based markers. These are the colors that I picked, and they're the Ohuhu brand, which you can get on Amazon. Then I have a piece of styrofoam, so save that styrofoam from your chicken or beef you get at the store, and this is what we're going to use to create a little stamp. This is a piece of palette paper and a little sponge, and of course a ton of Valentine hearts that are stickers. I just got these at Michael's. And then our paper today is Watercolour. This is the brand I like. So let's get started. First, I'm going to tape my paper to the table. I've used a piece of hardboard, but the table is just fine. This is going to keep our paper from getting all bumpy and will dry nice and flat. So the first thing we're going to do is our background, and I'm going to prep the background with water. So I'm going to spread water all over the page, and this is going to make our watercolors blend really nicely. So the first color I'm going to go in with is our purple. Now you want to activate your watercolor in the pan, so I added a bit of water to it. You can see there's a bit of water pooling in the purple, and then I'm going to create a strip of purple just at the top here, and you'll see that that water that I put on my page is letting it blend and kind of bleed really nicely. And I'm just going to do a block of purple, and then we're going to go in with our blue color. So again, creating a bit of a pool of blue by adding some water to that blue color, and then creating another strip just like I did with the purple, kind of going back and forth with my brush. I'm just making it a little bit darker by swirling my brush in the blue. And then the last color we're going to use is this lovely pink color. So I'm swirling my brush really nicely in that pink. Oh, it's so pretty. And then I'm going back and forth just like I did with the other two colors. And you can bring this all the way down to the bottom of your page. And see how I'm kind of going right over top of the tape? Don't be afraid to stay inside the tape. You can paint right outside. And then I want to blend these colors a little bit more into each other. So I'm going to slowly see how I worked that blue up into the purple, and then I'm working the purple back down into the blue, and then the blue is going to go slightly into that pink again. And I'm just creating a really nice blended gradient with those colors. Awesome. So I think we're all done. So this has to dry now. And while it dries, it'll probably take about 15 minutes or so. You can put yours in front of the fan, which is what I did. Okay, fast forward. It's dry. And we're not going to take off the tape just yet because we have to paint in our clouds. So I'm taping up my palette paper to the table, and then I'm adding some white acrylic paint. You don't need too much. And then I'm grabbing my little sponge. I like the round one because it creates some light fluffy clouds. And then I'm going to tap off the excess paint before I start to dot in my clouds. You'll notice these aren't perfect round circles. They're kind of, they're a bit fuzzy, right? Because clouds are fluffy and fuzzy, and they're not perfectly white and round all the time, right? So I'm just going to dab my clouds in just kind of all over the place, a little bit random. Some clouds are whiter than others, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. Perfect. I think that's enough clouds. So this has to dry too now for another little bit. And then while that's drying, we're going to create our stamp. So you'll see here I grabbed a piece of styrofoam and I cut off all the edges. So I'm just left with this square. Then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw the shape of the basket. So just like I'm doing here, it's got a nice kind of rounded edge, just like that. And then I'm going to create the stitching, so the crisscross for the basket. And you're just going to very carefully draw some diagonal lines starting on one side, and they're just spaced equally apart. And then you're going to repeat the same thing but going the other way on the other side, just like that. So just some crisscrossing lines. Now we want to cut it out. So you can go ahead, take your scissors and just carefully cut it out. It's pretty easy to cut these out. The styrofoam isn't too hard. So just like that. And I just wanted to shape that a little bit better. So you can toss that in the trash. And then I'm going to grab my brown water-based marker. It's important that it's a water-based, not alcohol, because otherwise it's not going to transfer onto our paper. So I'm just coloring the whole thing in with my brown marker. And then we're going to set that aside and pick our balloons or our hearts for the little balloon basket. So I'm just kind of sifting through, picking some shiny hearts, some smooth hearts, some small and big ones, kind of a variety. You can see here, I think I picked like 16 hearts, I want to say. Maybe I counted wrong. And then this is all dry now, so we can start to arrange. Actually, no, before we start to arrange our hearts, we're going to create our stamp. So I'm going to take my paintbrush and a little bit of water, and I'm just going to wet the paper so that the marker will transfer. So I'm not adding like a ton of water, just enough. You're going to wait for it to dry for like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it should be dry enough-ish. You just want it a little damp. Then I'm going to press my stamp right over top of where I put the water for a couple seconds, and then I'm going to lift it off gently. There we go. Not quite perfect, but that's okay. We can fix some of those little patches that didn't quite transfer. So I'm just going to take my marker and color them in. Yeah, easy fix. And then I added a little bit of rope just to the top of the basket, you kind of see there. And I'm just coloring them in. And then I outlined my whole basket. Perfect. So now I have to kind of create the bar that all of our balloons are going to be attached to. So I just drew like almost a full rectangle, but not quite. And then you can start to lay out all of your stickers. This is what I like to do because then I have an idea of where I want everything to go when it's not super random. So I'm just sort of placing them where I think they're going to look the best. And yeah, that one was a little bit tricky, but there we go. Awesome. So then I can start, once I'm happy with my layout, I can start to peel off the back of the stickers and just place them right where I kind of wanted them. Very easy peasy. This part is so fun. Very relaxing. Here I was like, I need one more. So I grabbed another one and I think it fit perfectly in that little spot there. Awesome. So now I'm going to grab my fine tip Sharpie marker and we're going to draw the little strings for our balloons. So I made it like a little upside or a little, I don't know, triangle almost for where the balloon would tie at the end of our hearts. And then I just drew a line right to the bar above our basket, just like that. And maybe there's one more there. Perfect. You just need a couple. And then I'm going to grab the markers for our flowers. So I have a pink, a red, and a yellow. And I'm going to start with the yellow and create some dots for the centers of our flowers, just in a few spots like that. And then I'm going to grab my first color, the pink. Oops, other side. There we go. And I'm just going to draw little lines right into the center of my flower, or going away from the center of my flower, just like that. Very easy. So I think that's enough pink flowers. So now I'm going to add some red flowers, doing kind of the same thing, just creating some little marks coming out from the middle of the flower. These are almost like little daisies. Lovely. So now I need to, also grab a green. Yes, we need to create some stems and some leaves for our flowers. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to create some stems kind of going into the basket and some little leaves as well, just to add some green and some more color, brighten it up a little bit more. There we go. And then I realized that my flowers were really, really light and they kind of disappeared into my background. So I took this darker pink and I just kind of went over some of those light pink flowers. There we go. Then they're a little brighter. Yay, and now the fun part. So we can take off all of our tape now that everything is dry and stuck onto our page. You'll notice that we have a really pretty white border. I find that this just finishes the piece and it looks really pretty all in that white border. And there we go. Wow, we did it. I would love to see your Love is in the Air project. So please send me a photo and either comment down below or send it to me in email. I'd love to see. So there we are. Thanks so much for joining me today. I will see you in the next video.